So OnePlus recently released the 6T as an improved version of the OnePlus 6. It has most of what made the 6 great, it improves upon a couple of things, it has made some subtractions, but to keep it simple, the 6T is one of the best smartphones of the year. In terms of hardware, it's pretty much the same as what we got with the 6 as far as materials, but they were able to stretch out the display ever so slightly to make it 6.41 inches. They pinched the notch into this tiny, I guess we're calling this teardrop design, and they even pushed the chin down just a little bit. It's also just a tad taller, thicker, and heavier than the 6. They sadly got rid of the headphone jack. Yes, I know, a lot of you won't like that, but according to OnePlus, they had to in order to increase the battery size to 3700 milliamps from 3300 milliamps. And in addition to that, they implemented an in-display fingerprint scanner. So no more fingerprint reader on the back below the camera module. We now get this new technology, which I gotta admit is really cool, but I'll talk about this a little later. So overall, a very solid phone, nice materials. I did want to add some color to make mine pop, so this time around I went with yellow carbon fiber, aka bulletproof banana from Dbrand. Link in the description. As for software, there really isn't anything to write home about here. It's your usual Oxygen OS experience we all know and love. Super clean with a nice collection of tweaks and customization. Few things to note would be an application locking function. You can clone certain apps. You can finally choose the exact color you want for the system accent. You can set the power button to activate the Google Assistant, and one of my favorite features is the choices you have for navigation. You got the regular 3-button layout, you've got the Pixel navigation layout along with its gestures, and then you have OnePlus's own navigation gestures. Makes it really easy to find what you're comfortable with, and you're not locked into just one type. The overall software experience is great. Android 9 Pie is in full effect here. I love it, and I've actually received a good number of software updates over the weeks to fix some issues and improve performance. It's easily one of the best user experiences on a smartphone. So in terms of performance and daily use, we're talking very familiar territory here as well. Fast, smooth, quick in every aspect, scrolling, multitasking, charging, face unlock, everything. It's blazing fast, just like the OnePlus 6 and phones from before. But you definitely notice that battery size increase. I've been getting 7+ hours of screen on time with my use. Every once in a while I'll get 6.5, but so far the 6T has given me some of the best battery life out of any phone that I've tried this year. It endures everything I throw at it. It is very good. Of course, I was a bit disappointed that they removed the headphone jack, but I do enjoy the battery size, and the in-display fingerprint reader is pretty slick. Initially, it's kind of mind-blowing that there's a fingerprint scanner underneath the display. It's definitely a conversation starter, especially with the interesting yet neat animations. It actually works quite well. It's fairly fast and it does a pretty good job with recognition. But in terms of how it compares to a regular scanner, I feel it's maybe half a step back. In order to unlock the phone with it, the display has to be awake. So it makes unlocking the phone without looking more difficult. It's not as fast or as accurate as a regular scanner. The setup process is a lot slower. And of course, this brings the scanner back to the front of the phone. I was very happy to see OnePlus put it on the back of the phone with the 5T, as I do feel that that is the best place for it to be. But these are minor gripes. I did get used to it rather quickly, and again, this is really cool technology and I like that it exists. I think OnePlus did a really good job with this overall, considering how young this tech in phones really is. Quickly touching on the cameras, again, we're in familiar territory. These are actually the same set of cameras we got on the OnePlus 6, but that is not necessarily a bad thing. I always thought that the 6 had a very solid set of cameras, so instead of upgrading the hardware, OnePlus is focusing more on upgrading the software with things like image processing, and they're doing a good job. This of course means that the 6's cameras will improve as well. For a phone that costs hundreds of dollars less than the phones we compare it to, the camera results are pretty close at first glance. Of course, you won't be getting what you get with the Pixel as far as stills, but you can actually record in 4K at 60 frames per second, which you can't do on the Pixel. All in all, I think users will be pleased with what they can get with these cameras, especially if they use the Pixel 3 camera port. I've been using the 6T as my main phone for about 3 weeks straight, and I love it. It just works. And this is coming from a Pixel 3 XL and Note 9 owner. I am more than pleased with it, and I haven't felt the urge to switch to something else. I was a little let down with a few things. For instance, there's still no wireless charging, no full IP rating, although OnePlus does claim that the 6T is more water resistant than its predecessors. The phone still has the same vibration motor, there are still no stereo speakers, which means we're stuck with the single, very easily coverable bottom firing speaker. And while I really love the display, it's still not as crisp as the 3XLs or the Note 9s. Props to OnePlus for sticking with it though. None of those, however, have been deal breakers, at least for me, especially when you consider the phone still starts at under $600. And speaking of starting, the baseline Model 6T comes with 128 gigabytes of storage, so bye-bye 64 gigs, huge thumbs up for that. OnePlus is definitely taking steps forward, and what are probably their biggest steps are Verizon Compatibility and their new partnership with T-Mobile to sell the phone in T-Mobile's stores. I think it goes without saying that the 6T is worth it. For the price, you'll be hard-pressed to find something with a more pleasing user experience and complete package. It's when it's compared to more expensive flagships that it begins to look a little more inferior to some people because it doesn't have a boatload of features like a Galaxy, something from LG, or even a Pixel. But the 6T, OnePlus phones in general, and other devices out there have been proof that you don't have to spend $1,000 to get a great phone with nice features. As for someone who has been spoiled by the haptics and the cameras of the 3XL, the size, display, and set of features of the Note 9, I can easily see the 6T as being my main phone to close out this year. Whether or not that'll actually happen is yet to be determined, but you get my point. The 6T will be more than enough for most general users. We will be making some comparison videos against its biggest rivals, so make sure you keep an eye out for those. The 6T is a very good phone. It's one of my favorites, and I can't wait to see what OnePlus has in store next. So, what are your thoughts on the OnePlus 6T? Let's talk about it. Go ahead and drop your comments down below. As always, we love to hear your feedback. But anyway, that does it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe to the Android Police channel if you're new. I will talk to you guys later, and thank you so much for watching.